Okay, this is 7th grade lesson 3.6. Today, students will be using proportions to convert units of length, capacity, weight, and mass in the US and metric system, as well as between the two systems. The page numbers for part of this lesson are pages 130 through 135 and pages 75 through 78. The first two parts of this lesson will actually be review of the US system of measure and the metric system of measure. Okay, so part one is we're going to be working with US conversions. And the key thing is if you do not know all of your conversions, you can find those in the very last page of your hardcover book. It's got all of the US and all of the US to metric conversions as well as metric. But we will actually be using a saying to go through and remember our order for the metric system. So here what we're going to be doing is working with converting just in the US system of measure. So we've got 4,000 pounds is equal to how many tons? Well, I like to look at these problems when I get them as ratios. So I've got 4,000 pounds. I'm going to go ahead and, 40,000 pounds. I'm going to go ahead and write it up. And LB is the abbreviation for pounds, equals blank tons. Okay, so if I go through and look in the back of my book, I found that in the back of the book, 200 pounds is the same as 1 ton. Now, it might be written in the back of your book, 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds, but we're going to match labels, so it doesn't matter the order in the back of the book. So I just found in the back of the book, 2,000 pounds equals 1 ton. Okay, so I'm going to cross multiply, divide. So I find here that when I cross multiply, it's 40,000 still. I'm going to take 40,000 divided by 2,000, which is going to give me 20. Okay, so 4,000 pounds is the same as 20 tons. Now, I know some of you will be able to just kind of look at these and be able to decide if you have to multiply or divide, but some kids are not good with that. So this is another process that you can use to be able to decide, do I multiply or do I divide? So here we've got 272 ounces is equal to how many pounds? So ounces is always one where kids get mixed up because there's fluid ounces, which is 8 fluid ounces is 1 cup, and then there's ounces in pounds, and there are 16 ounces in a pound. So 16 ounces, since I have my ounces in the front here, is the same as 1 pound, so 1 lb. Okay, and key thing is if you're using the abbreviation, leave a space so you don't accidentally look at that as 11. Or 116 for those of you that are maybe right, not the clearest. Okay, so we're going to cross multiply. So 1 times 272 gives me the 272. And then I'm going to divide. So 272 divided by 16 gives me 17 pounds. Okay, and some of you might be able to look at that and just say, well, I know I'm going to divide by 16, and that's okay. I'm not saying you have to use a proportion, but I'm saying for those of you that maybe struggle with deciding, do I multiply or do I divide? You can set it up as a proportion to make it more visual, and it helps you be able to decide. Okay, 7 pounds to ounces. So we get to use the same conversion, but here they've flipped things around. So the last one gave me ounces. This time it's pounds listed first. So 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Cross multiply. So here I'm finding out that I'm going to multiply 16 times 7 and then divide by 1, which is going to give me the same answer. So 16 times 7 tells me that it would be 112 ounces. 7 pounds would be 112 ounces. Okay, so I'm going to give you one to do. And if you need to use the back of your hardcover book, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so try this one. 132 inches is how many feet? So the conversion is there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So you should have ended up taking 132 divided by 12. You should have ended up with 11 feet for your final answer. Okay, so try one more. 13 feet to inches. So still, once again, using that same conversion, but this time you're going from feet to inches. You should have gotten 156 inches. For those of you that are visual, it would have looked like this. And you cross multiply, then divide by 1. So you end up just taking 12 times 13. Okay, that's working with US conversions. And once again, you don't have to use proportions. It's just a method for those of you that have struggled in the past to decide, do I multiply or do I divide? It's a method that you can use.